What is going on today, guys? We are back for another guide video in Darkness Falls. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at the difference between axes for harvesting wood. Now, as you can see in front of us, we have 24 blue spruce set up. So they're all 1200 durability. I just actually finished planting them. So we got this all set up. Now, today we're going to do it a little bit different. We're going to go through and make sure that our harvest count is the same for uh, for each tree. So we're gonna do three for each of the three for each of the axes, with the exception of the combat axes here at the end. The combat axes I want to talk about, and we're just gonna basically take one hit with it, and I'm gonna show you guys them because they're not a harvesting tool. They are an actual weapon in the game, but I wanted to include them just because they are an axe, and I didn't think it would be right to uh, not include them. So anyway, the two combat axes here. Um, we have. Whoops! Why do I have two titanium combat axes? Um, to actually get the right one here. So that's the one we want, not that one. All right. So we have a regular combat axe, and we have the titanium counterpart. Now these are for a melee weapon. They're not to be used for harvesting, which I will show you guys, and you will understand why when we get to them. But there is this schematic for it. Now I don't know if you can actually find the schematic in game. This is actually something I pulled out of the creative menu as well, uh, just for this purpose. But I'm not sure if you can actually find that schematic in game and use it, because I have never ever seen this schematic the whole time I've been playing this mod. So I don't know. You guys will have to let me know about that in the comment section, because like I said, I've never seen it. So it's completely new to me. But anyway, we have eight, I believe. Yes, eight types of axes. We have a regular stone axe. We have the Taza stone axe, which is the artifact version. We have a scrap iron axe, or scrap iron fire axe, steel fire axe, titanium fire axe, and then we have the combat axe and the titanium combat axe. So we're going to be testing the harvest difference between these six. Now we can include the chainsaws, but the chainsaws, we will be including them as well here. But I want to show off the combat axes here first before we grab the chainsaws and show them. So anyway, we're not gonna use these trees for this purpose because these combat axes don't do nearly the same amount of damage. But what I'm oh hello, hey, we could test it on the cow. What do you think? That actually works pretty well. But I was going to test it on one of my fruit trees here because these do not do a lot of damage for harvesting. So we're just going to come in here to one of the apple trees here, and I'll show you. They do 20 damage, so very low. You guys will see that um, that even the stone axe will do a lot more than that. So you can see you only get 50 wood and 4 apples. The apples we're not going to be worrying about. It's only the wood that we're harvesting that we worry about on here, because apples are going to be random. But we'll test out the regular combat axe here, and as you can see, this one does 1 damage. So it's pretty useless as far as a harvesting tool. So I mean, we would be here for for days trying to chop this tree down, and the resources that we actually get out of it, as you can see, are not that good. So, again, these are for combat only, obviously, as their name states. But I wanted to include them, like I said. And as you can see, there is a difference between the two. We only got 47 wood this time. Or no, rather, we did get 50 as well. But you notice the biggest difference is how much block damage they do. So we're just going to ship these off, get them out of here, and we're going to be grabbing ourselves our chainsaws. So the chainsaws, we're going to be testing both of them. We're not going to use the augers for this. Uh, I suppose we could have included like our titanium auger for this, but the auger doesn't. It's not like the chainsaw. Uh, the difference in the chainsaws. The titanium auger doesn't do the damage to wood like the titanium chainsaw does damage for ores and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm gonna grab the chainsaws and we're gonna get to chopping down them trees. All right, so we have our chainsaws and we have our 6 axes to test out. Now we're gonna be testing this out with full mining skill. That is one thing to take note of. We have maxed out mining tools and miner 69er, so we have max level skills for testing this out, and we're gonna go through one at a time and check the difference in harvest count as well as the damage. So first off, we're going to see what the damage is, and then we are going to chuck that wood on the ground, and then we're going to go through harvest the tree behind it, and then harvest the one behind that afterwards so we can see the total harvest count. So, okay, that actually surprised me for a minute. Archer there. So anyway, as you can see, 96 damage with the stone axe. So we're just going to toss that on the ground and leave that as it is. So 96 damage, that's not a lot, but that is pretty good considering of what it is, with no mods. So now feathers are going to be random thing you get out of it, as well as like honey sometimes, and then we'll get seeds as well. So, okay, so harvest count is 450 for a full tree, which sounds about right, but we're going to just drop this off in the chest like so, and we're going to move on to the tree behind it and make sure that it is the same. Now you could use either power hits or just normal hits for this. It's not really that. I don't think the harvest count actually differs for that. But you know, that's something we could actually test out here as well. So again, 450 is the harvest count for this. So we actually don't even need to hold on to this time. The harvest count didn't differ, so we'll actually grab some more of those blue spruce trees. And why? I'll have to do it this way. It wants to be that way. Where is the? Oh, whatever. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We planted the winter pine. My apologies, not blue spruce. My apology. I don't know why I was thinking blue spruce, but anyway, we're going to test with power hits to make sure it is exactly the same now. So we'll also test the damage of the power hit, which I don't think is really... Anyway, we'll just test it. So the damage of the power hit is only 128. So that actually seems really low for a power hit, considering what we did for a normal hit. 128 just feels really small. So anyway, we'll clear it with power hits here. See what the harvest count is. And just like that, we're still at 450, so power hits make no difference. Again, just drop everything off. So now we'll go and chuck this stone axe right in here by the resources, so we know that the stone axe is for this one here. Now again, the seeds and the feathers are not something you need to pay attention to for this purpose. The only thing we're interested in is the wood. So now we're going to move on to the Taza stone axe. Now this is an artifact find. You cannot craft it. You can only find this, I believe, in, again, only in artifact chests. But let's test out the damage and see what it does. So it does 102. So it is slightly better as far as damage goes versus the regular stone axe. So now let's see how it does for harvest count total. Okay, so 450 is the harvest count for that. So that's pretty good. And again, as we tested with the stone axe, the harvest count does not change. doing it a second time. So we'll actually go ahead and do it with power hits for the second one. And what is that up there? Was that archer moving through? Just caught a glimpse of it, but test it with power hits. Power hits are the exact same damage as a normal swing. Now, why is a power hit the same for this? I have absolutely no idea, but power hit did the exact same hit. And yes, those were power hits. But you'll notice the swing difference, that's normal, and that's the power hit. So the power hits did exactly the same damage, which is, I don't know. That almost seems like that's a bug to me, but it may be as designed. I could not honestly tell you on that one. But anyway, let's move on to the scrap iron fire axe here. So, 135 damage, which again, it's going, as you notice the trend, the better the grade of the axe you get, the more damage you do. So again, we will progressively see more and more damage up through the titanium fire axe, and then we'll of course see more damage with the titanium chainsaw over the regular chainsaw. But we'll get to that when we get there. So let's see how the harvest count is for normal attacks. Okay, so as you guys will note, the harvest count has actually gone up. So we are now at 464 for the amount of wood we are getting with the scrap iron fire axe. So there is an increase in harvest amount. It's not much, but it is notable. We gotta take this guy out here quick. Whoops, missed. There we go. Give him a little bit of laser sword action. So now we're going to test out with power swings. So power swing should just give us more damage. It shouldn't affect the harvest count again. So let's find out. And it does considerably more damage, as you're noting. We are hitting 225 damage per power swing. So that's a pretty nice amount of damage. And you will note the harvest count is the same. So regardless whether it's a power swing or whether it's a normal swing, harvest count does not differ there. So the only thing the power swing is going to affect is your stamina. So, you know, if you guys have, good sex rec skill for stamina regen, then you don't have to worry about using power hits. Power hits won't affect your stamina much. But for me, I actually have nothing in the sexual Tyrannosaurus, but I just have so much overall where it doesn't matter. But anyway, now we are on to the regular iron fire axe. Now the iron fire axe is, it's not too hard to craft. It's something you can find pretty easily as far as looting goes, but I'll cover more of that at the end. This is basically, the first part of this is just going to be to show the damage, just going to be to show the harvest count, and see the difference between the power attack versus the normal attack. So let's test this out. So you'll note, with the power attack, it's 172 damage. So again, significant increase in damage with just a regular swing. So let's test the harvest count and see how big of a difference there is now. Okay, so with this one, we now have 480 for our harvest count, which, as you guys will notice, the trend is continuing to go up at a pretty decent amount. So, you know, if you're resource conscious, then, you know, maybe it's worth your time to do it. However, if you're just playing to speed through it, then, you know, probably not so much. But it's completely your choice. We'll cover that more in the end as well later. She surprised me again. I thought she had gone. But anyway, let's test the power attack. So, power attack is 243 damage now. Let's smoke through this sucker. Little lockup there. More than a little lockup. But anyway, as you can see, harvest count is still the same with the power attack at 480 wood. And now we're going to move on to the steel fire axe next. So let's drop this off in here, just like so. And now let's check out the steel fire axe. So we have, these trees are kind of a little bit off center now. But we'll know which one's for which. So anyway, let's test out the first swing. So, 258 damage now for a regular attack. That's pretty damn good. That's, that's quite a bit of damage. So, you're only talking 5 hits to fully clear a full tree. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. But let's check out the harvest count and see how much better it is now. Okay, so harvest count is now 494. So you'll notice a trend in the harvest count different here, which I'll show you. So when you jump from the stone tools to scrap iron, it jumps 14, and then it jumps 16, and then it'll jump 14 for steel, and then it's again going to jump 16 when we get to titanium. I don't know why the hell that said steel wrench, but whatever. I guess there ain't no steel wrench in there. But again, we should see this when we get onto the titanium fire axe. It should jump up 16 more again, which I don't know if it's intended to be 14 and 16 jump or if it was supposed to be 15 per, but either way it should be the same. Let's test out the power attack. So you'll note the power attack is 366. That's quite the hit. That's not a lot of hits to take out a tree now. So at 4 hits to take out a tree, that's pretty damn good. Hello. So again, the resource harvest count doesn't change. Not sure what the hell that archer's doing, but she just like walked up the tree and is staying there now. So, oh, there she goes. Good. All right, so now we're on to the titanium fire axe. Now, a titanium fire axe is going to be a later game item, and it should do pretty significant damage. So let's see exactly how much it does. So 300 damage. That is 4 swings to take out a full tree, which that's not bad. That's a lot of time saved, especially considering our first axe didn't even quite do 100 damage. That's a lot different. But let's check out the full harvest count in 4 swings. So as predicted, it is now up to 510 based on how it's been trending. So again, there is a difference in harvest count, and it moves up, increasingly the same as you go. But how are the chainsaws going to be in the end? Guess we'll have to find out here in just a minute after we do our power attacks. 500 damage for a power attack. Holy crap. That's a hell of a hit. Yeah. But you'll notice harvest count doesn't change. And this time we got lucky and found a jar of honey, which there's no guarantee for finding them like in vanilla where you get a book and you can find them. There's just no guarantee to getting honey in this mod. It's really random. You can go 1,000 trees without finding one, or you can take out 1,000 trees and get 1,000 honey. It's completely random. So you're not going to be guaranteed to ever find the honey, but honey is very important in this game. So just take note of that as well if you guys are not aware. Honey is quite the important resource. So just take note of that. If you find it, you're probably going to want to hold on to it. You're probably not going to want to eat it either, because you will be using quite a bit of it throughout the mod. So anyway, now we're on to the regular chainsaw. Now the regular chainsaw is relatively early game. It's the power tool version of steel. So let's test this out in one shot and see what it does for damage. So one hit does 72 damage, which isn't too bad. I mean, that's almost the same as the stone axe did down there. So 72 damage, not horrible. Considering how fast it attacks, that's not too bad. But let's test out on a full tree and see how much it does. See what the harvest count is. Okay, so there is no power attack with the chainsaw, so you can't power attack with it. But you know, again, the harvest count would stay the same. So as you'll note, though, with the steel comparable power tool, it does the exact same that the steel pick or the steel fire axe does, not pickaxe. So the difference between the two we'll cover later on, but as you guys can see, it's pretty good. It's very quick, but again, we'll cover all the stats of them as we go in the end. So let's test out with the titanium one. Now, titanium chainsaw, definitely a late game item, and as I had mentioned in our last guide video on mining, the titanium chainsaw can actually be used to mine rock, ore, sand, clay, any of it. It works exactly the same as an auger, and when modded out, it can do slightly more damage. So anyway, let's test it out for one shot and see what it does. So, as you guys will take note, one shot clears a tree. Yes, completely clears the tree in one shot. And that was 510 wood. So let's test it out again here. And again, one shot completely clears the tree. Now this is exactly the reason why I think the titanium chainsaw is bugged. Because even without mods, this thing has absolutely no mods in it. It will completely one-shot a tree. Now that is four times the damage of the titanium fire axe. 4 times. Without mods, and it's a power tool, so it does, it does over 6 times the attacks per minute, and it can one-shot a 1200 HP tree. So this is, in my opinion, why the titanium chainsaw is by far the best wood harvesting tool. Basically, it's best overall, all-around harvesting tool. You can't go wrong with it. Even with the auger for mining and stuff, the titanium chainsaw still beats it. There's no doubt about it. But it kind of comes down to personal preference when you're mining. But that's another thing in general. But as you guys will take note, there is really no comparison. Titanium chainsaw beats everything else. It's got the same or better harvest count as every other tool in here, and it does at least 4 times the damage in one shot. Let alone it can do 300 attacks per minute, so it is up to 6 times faster than any of the other harvesting tools. And I think that speaks for itself. 6 times the attacks as its counterpart, and it does 4 times the damage. So, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you have the access to the titanium chainsaw, you don't even need a mod in it to cut down trees, and you can cut down any tree in the game. And I will show you. If you look at the trees here, you'll notice that the hit points in them, as you go up, whoops, where is the big ones I was at? Right here. So the big trees are 1200 hit points. And as far as I know, that is as good as they get. So you'll notice here's a 28-foot winter pine as well, and is 1200. And then you'll find 27-foot mountain pine. Oh wait, my apologies. 41 meter mountain pine is again 1200. So As far as trees go, 1200 is as good as it gets. And oh, those are bananas and stuff like that. But yeah, 1200 is as good as it gets. So it'll one shot any tree you come in contact with. Um, Again, this is just my opinion, but without a doubt, even though it runs on gas, even though it's going to attract your screamers, even though it's titanium and it's going to cost you a little bit to make, which honestly, for what it is, it's very cheap to make. It's kind of a no-brainer if you have access to it and you can get it. Hands down, the best harvesting tool in the game, in my opinion. So there you guys have it. Here's another look at everything we've gotten so you guys can compare it. If you want to pause the video and take time to compare the wood amounts, like I said, it's pretty easy based on the damage to see which one is the front runner there. Durability wise as well, if you compare like the stats, you'll note that it has double the durability of the steel counterpart, more fuel capacity, almost double the block damage. It's again, huge difference there. And even though technically the titanium fire axe has double the block damage, the titanium chainsaw still does 4 times the damage when harvesting. So again, this is why I think it's bugged. That and the fact that you can mine with it better than an auger. In my opinion, I don't think it should be this way. So I'm assuming that it's probably going to change once somebody reports it to them that it does it that way. Because honestly, if I would have had to pick one that would have one-shot it, I would have picked the titanium fire axe before I had ever even tested them out. But as weird as it is, titanium chainsaw will actually one-shot. So there you guys have it. This video is just for harvesting wood. Stupid things keep walking around me. But it's just for harvesting wood. And like I said, in my opinion, titanium chainsaw, hands down, beats any of the other wood harvesting tools, even without mods. You could fully mod out all the other wood harvesting tools, and a titanium chainsaw with no mods as is would beat them hands down. So that's my opinion. That's my thought on it. You guys can, I'm sure, can have your own opinion. I'm not going to tell you how to play your game. But anyway, the results will speak for themselves, and you can decide your conclusion on what you'd like to use from there. So thank you guys so much for being here for this video. Next video, I think we're going to be doing shovels and the augers. We'll also be including the titanium chainsaw because of how it is. But that's going to be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys are enjoying these videos and you want to see any other kind of guide video, make sure you guys let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're liking them, make sure you guys are smashing the like button for me. Also, if you guys are enjoying these videos, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and you trigger those notification bells so you never miss out on any of these videos. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. I really do appreciate all your support, and we will catch you guys for the next one.